Hey everybody, this is my video of our class today. I'm sorry that you weren't all able to make it, but this will bring you up to date on everything we spoke about today, or at least the bare basics. So please just follow along. Thank you. Okay, as you know, our last essay for this semester is going to be our argumentative persuasive essay. And I put some dates on the board, but they shall also be in my PowerPoint that I'm going to be sending to you. The rough draft for the argumentative persuasive essay is the 19th of November, and the final draft is due the 10th of December. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I really want a chance to look over your rough drafts and make sure that you understand exactly what I asked for, exactly what I need you to do, and that way you don't have to do a lot of rewriting and correcting. First off, you're all pretty familiar with this. We've been doing this all semester. You're going to be writing in third person. In other words, there should be no I's or U's unless you are directly quoting somebody. So you need to be writing in third person. Also, your argumentative persuasive essay needs to be on a controversial or debatable topic. Whatever you, if you would like, whatever you wrote about in your rebuttal essay, such as refuting whether the recent practice of football players kneeling during the national anthem is not covered under free expression or free speech, and you wrote your article, you wrote that essay on that topic, then you could actually move into another area of football, i.e. injuries. Okay? So for an example, you could write your argumentative persuasive essay on head trauma. Okay, there's a lot of science right now, a lot of information about suffering a concussion causing you to change your personality, change your being able to comprehend what's going on around you. In other words, after you've recovered from the concussion, you still could have after effects. That would make a great persuasive essay, arguing that the NFL needs to quit thinking about dollars and start thinking about the players and their safety. Just a suggestion, but a really great one, okay? Also, you want to make sure that you are going to write at least 650 words, and I am leaving the ending fairly open. Just don't rewrite War and Peace because I have so many essays to grade. Take pity on your poor English teacher, okay? All righty. Again, the rough draft date and the final draft date are there, and they will be on the slides as well. Now, the one thing that you do want to do is to be sure that you are using resources from the online library or resources that are totally accountable. In other words, no tabloid, no blogs, or any type of information that was just hearsay. Now, if you want to conduct an interview or if you want to cite an interview from a reliable source, for example, if there was an NFL player on YouTube that had to leave the NFL, say, a few years ago due to his health, and he talks about the blows he took to his skull and how he now no longer can drive a car. He has started to develop Parkinson's disease. Something like that would be perfectly okay. Okay, there are actually 3 types of argumentation that would be part of your essay. You may not have every single type, but most of the time you will have elements of all 3, no matter what your topic may be. So those 3 types are pro-con, raising awareness, and finding a solution. And as you look at those, you may be thinking, obviously you know what pro-con means, but have you ever thought about taking it a little further? It doesn't necessarily just mean, oh, I'm all for blank or I'm all against blank. It might also be that you are very pro these NFL team owners really investing in their members and helping them with this possible life-threatening and life-changing injuries such as a concussion or some other kind of trauma to the head. And actually, while you're talking about this, you're actually raising awareness because many people probably just don't think about it. They enjoy the game, they enjoy the action, and they're just enjoying that, and they never stop to think what's actually happening on the field. Now, perhaps you don't have a solution to how we could solve this problem, but you feel that maybe if the American public knew more about it, they would pressure the NFL owners to find a solution to make the game safer. And finally, let's talk about references and what your paper should look like. Okay, all semester, we have been talking about MLA, okay? So, and you have been using it in your other essays, which is great. MLA format basically means that you will follow the formatting rules. They are in your textbook, and they're also very easy to find at Al at Purdue and other places, other websites. In other words, you will do what you've been doing throughout the semester. You will double space. You will use Times New Roman 12-point font. You will have in-text citations. And a works cited page. Whoops. With your 5 sources. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to do the in-text citations because this proves that you are not plagiarizing. Simply listing all kinds of interesting websites, articles, interviews on your works cited page, but not specifically citing them within your document is still plagiarism. You must show exactly where you received this information. If you were talking about, for instance, going back to the NFL, if you were talking about that it is estimated that this many players in the years following their retiring from the NFL have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, have developed Alzheimer's and dementia, or some other type of neurological problem, you would have to cite where you got that information. You couldn't just say 20%, 30% or something because for all the reader knows that's a bogus statistic, okay? And then, of course, it would be on the works cited page as well. And, of course, we don't want to leave out the whole idea of, we don't want our paper to sound like statistic, citation, information, information, information. Where is the heart of this paper? The heart of the paper is in common knowledge. When you bring in the familiar, when you bring in the whole idea of and ask the reader to understand how big a problem this could be for someone. That is where the small anecdote comes in, a personal interview, an interview that you've borrowed from YouTube and cited. Like, look at, whoever it might be. He was in perfect health. He was, 35 years old when he retired from the NFL or whatever. And within 5 years, he was, severely disabled. That would really bring your point home. We as human beings are not impressed with statistics. That's a bunch of numbers. But when you give us a name and you give us a story and we can connect with that story, then we care. Then we're interested and then we will follow through. And so whatever you're trying to get the reader to do, i.e. become active, write their congressman or whatever it might be, when I think about, that could happen to my grandson. That could happen to my nephew if they were playing football. Oh, that's horrible. Something has to be done. Then you have accomplished your purpose. Speaking of references, the references are wide open. You don't have to restrict yourself to the old, boring journal article, okay? Go far afield. Look for videos. Think about conducting an interview on your topic. Conduct a short survey of your friends in the dorm or your friends in a classroom. Ask your English teacher, namely me, or someone else. Say, could I just pass out these pieces of paper and collect them at the end of class? Just five short questions I want to ask the students. And, any professor would be willing to help you. You can use articles. You can use graphs. Let's say you gather all that wonderful information from your survey and you say, well, I'm going to show that 50% of poly students feel this way about this social problem or this situation. I'm going to demonstrate that this is not seen as a really big problem among poly students, which is a problem because they should be concerned about it. And last but not least, you of course can use books. If you, for example, were trying to show a progression, let's just say you were trying to show the fact that perhaps getting off the NFL topic, but let's say you're just trying to show the progression of how in America or even in the Western world, for the most part, mental illness has been handled or treated. And you might want to reference an older book in which it has some type of barbaric treatment to show that, mental illness has, of course, always carried a stigma, and that even in modern times, it still is not understood or treated as if it were another physical ailment. So that's just a couple suggestions. Okay, for the on Tuesday, when we meet again, we will move along further with this. I will have some examples for you. We will look at some examples in the book of being persuasive and bringing your debate, your argument, and giving your evidence. The most important thing about this essay is that it must be backed by good, solid evidence. You cannot make any type of claim or bring a supporting detail to a claim without having evidence, and we'll talk more about that on Tuesday. Thank you for viewing my video, and please send me a short email. All you have to do is send me an email saying I saw it so that I can give you credit for attending the lecture. Thank you and have a great weekend.